Okay, we are live. Thank you all for tuning in to Dawson and Denise TV. I am joined here by Denise along with our good friends Miss D and Zahara. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. I appreciate that. Um, I want to talk real briefly. We're all saddened by the recent events and the death of actor Robin Williams, and it's just really sad when we talk about suicide. For someone who made so many millions of people laugh over decades, and to have this issue, and to take your own life is very sad. What do you ladies think about this?
I think it's really sad that it's a possibility that Robin Williams, by all accounts, from what the California Police Department is saying, is that it's suicide, asphyxiation. So he hung himself. I mean, it just goes to show you that even when you think people got it good and you think that their life is so good, because Robin Williams is a well-known comedian, actor. He's been around, for a very long time. And I mean, I know he's had some drug issues in the past, but it's just sad. It just goes to show you never know.
You never know. You never know. You're absolutely right. Any thoughts on that, Zahara? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually really liked his work. I still like his work, rather. And I was very surprised when I heard the news. He's been around for a long time, like Miss D said, and so I knew he was up in age, but just in reading the different, reports out there, I realized he was 63, and then I
Yeah.
was just thinking, wow, he had, that's not that old, and he has
No.
a really, really large, work
Hmm.
portfolio basically. So
Hmm.
I was just I'm a little uh, saddened by it, and I also think just from what I was reading, a lot of people are drawing parallels between him and all these other stars who have a drug overdose or who commit suicide. And I just really paused before I made those parallels. Obviously they're all famous, so that's the
Hmm.
one big commonality. But really, I think people have their own personal, lives as well as their public life. And so I just don't think it's a matter of, you know, he gave his all to the public and he didn't have anything else left for himself. I think, like Ms. D pointed out, there was some issues, some long-standing issues there, and the major one that stood out to me is depression. As someone who
Hmm.
suffered from depression, so I think that there are all sorts of mental issues that are actually considered diseases. And for me, as far as the black community goes, we talk about violence a lot in our community. It's usually police brutality and black on black crime. But I think the death by suicide is something we should start to talk about, or just talk, maybe we're already talking about it, but talk about it more, because death by suicide is something that is rampant. Especially, we all have a sense of the difficulties of life. So just imagine
Exactly.
someone who has more of a propensity to be depressed, or a propensity to have different, like, bipolar or all these kinds of things. The thing that I really want to say, just and that's it for me, is we really do have to see these mental illnesses as diseases. And so what I mean by that is they need to be treated. People need to talk about them more. And really, is if you're having issues with your mental health, that's huge. That's
Hmm.
almost that's you need that, whether you're going to go to work, whether you're going to do anything, you need that, as opposed to like losing a limb or something like that, where you can begin to, have crutches or have a prosthetic. But when your
Hmm.
mind is the issue, that is
Exactly.
really huge. And so I'm all about this topic in that way.
Exactly. Exactly. Definitely. And if we look, I think it was this time last year with the young comedian actor from what's his name, Lee Thompson Young. who
Oh,
committed
okay.
Oh
suicide.
yes.
Jeanette Jackson.
Yeah, who committed suicide at 29 years old. And
But
I
we
mean,
always hear people say that it's lonely at the top and we just take it for what it is. But we're starting to see that it really is, because in one of his quotes he was saying that there's is one thing to feel, to be alone, but there's another thing to have everybody around you and still feel that way. And a lot of people may feel like that because of their mental issues, because of their status, and
hmm
they turn to the drugs to cope and deal.
hmm
Or well, like we said, not in his, we don't know his case, but people do that to deal, to be able to sleep at night, or to have the weight of the world on your shoulders if you are that age and not a celebrity. Like if you're a person and you were working for your social security and you're 65, and now, because we see a lot of older people committing suicide too now, you didn't work
Yeah.
all your life trying to prepare and have something, then you find out you have nothing.
Mm. That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. It is. It is something, definitely that, we're saddened by. And, I was just thinking, because I just got the news like literally not even an hour ago. And the first movie that goes through my head, not even before a movie, because I don't know, I grew up on the reruns of Mork and Mindy. And that was Robin Williams when he played, the little nano. And, remembering that, and then remembering, some of the stuff, Mrs. Doubtfire, we all remember that. And he's just been around. And I remember when he used to do, along with Billy Crystal and Whoopi
Yep.
Goldberg, they used to do their comedian special on HBO. I
Yep.
mean, it was always like, and they were the only ones at a certain time who hosted the Oscars. And I remember how Whoopi said in an interview, she'd call Billy and say, "Are you going to do it?" They call Robin and all this kind of stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, Robin Williams is an Academy Award winning actor. He won
Yeah.
for Best Supporting Actor. Yeah,
Mhm.
and to have all
Good
of
Will
that,
Hunting.
He's a
good.
Grammy and Emmy award winning actor too, both.
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. And so looking on the outside looking in, or people who see that, like Denise stated, some people will look at your accolades and say, hey, you have an Oscar, you have an Emmy, your name is in lights, you've got money, you live in, you've done, film and television, the celebrities. He is still, at 63, he's still talked about after all these years, so he has relevance in Hollywood. And for someone to have all of that, and to think that suicide is the issue, we
But
would look in.
Dawson, I'm
Go
sorry, I
ahead.
have to cut you off because
Go ahead.
mental illness doesn't care how much money you have. So
Exactly.
I really reject the idea that we should think that because he has money, we should be surprised by this. If you
hmm
have a mental issue, you got a mental issue.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree, but I was getting to that most people would look at that and think, for a layperson thinking that, oh, you have everything. Oh, your world is, it's just perfect. But like you said, Zahar, and it is true, when someone has a mental illness or dealing with depression or dealing with thoughts of, loneliness and stuff, no matter what you have, I mean, there are people right now who can fly from California to Dubai and, just go have a vacation at the drop of a dime. But that sense of, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, they don't have that. Or they may still be, like you stated, battling with mental illness. And that is something that, a lot of times. Go ahead, Denise. Go ahead.
And this is why we have to educate each other, or educate our families, and talk about it more, so we can understand, like Zahara said, and like you were saying, just because I have a bunch of money, that doesn't mean I'm complete. Just because I have a bunch of people around me, that doesn't mean I'm happy or I'm whole. Just because I'm smiling every day to keep from crying, it doesn't mean. We have to educate each other and check on each other, like I did you that day.
I also, I also would like to add. I think also a lot of times, because I was listening to a news broadcast on MSNBC, Chris Matthews, and it was talking to a close friend, producer, has done a lot of work, recent work with Robin Williams, and it wasn't Chris Matthews who was on today, but the reporter that was on asked the guy. He said, well, did you ever discuss Robin Williams' drug, issues and his recovery with that? And the guy said, oh, no, no, we never talked about that. I can't comment on that because we were too busy talking about, what he wanted to do, his upcoming work, his ideas. So, and this was a person that was close to him. And I think that a lot of times you get surrounded by people, celebrities and stuff, they get surrounded by people who do not address their issues. They're around them, They're living with them. They know they have drug issues. They know they have depression, but somehow the people that's around them do not see that. They don't see it. I guess they think it's not going to happen.
Hmm. Well, we can look. I mean, even within our lifetimes, we've heard about the stories with Jimi Hendrix and the Judy Garlands and the people who've overdosed on and who've had the yes men and yes women around them for years. But when we look at people who have passed recently within the last 3 or 4 years, who are people we grew up with, and the whole thing around them is like, the people around, her or him, they were just there for the money. They saw that they had a drug habit or that they were spiraling down in depression, but they would give them a drink or go get them a hit of
Right.
meth or coke. And then when they die, it's like some people, it's like, are people around them? It's like, how could you be that insensitive?
Because they want a check. They want that check to keep flowing. So if I'm feeding you these drugs and it's going to make you go out on the stage and perform at your greatest, here you go. So they don't care about their so-called friends. They just care about themselves and to be able to get a check.
Well, you know what I would say? I can't say that it's all about money. And the reason I would say that is because I know regular lay people who are not celebrities that, they do drugs and they influence their friends and they all, I think sometimes you be surrounded by a bunch of people who are not followers. I mean, who are followers. They're not leaders, because you don't have to really look up into a celebrity class to find people who are with their friends and they see their friends are down spiraling. They're alcoholics. They're drug addicts. They're doing this. They're into that. And people will bring them another drink or say, let's light another one, or let's hit it up, and won't say anything. So I think that's like a problem in society as a whole. I think part of the reason is you hear some people say, well, they are, and they're grown. What do you want me to do about it? You know what I mean? They're making their own decision. What do you want me to do about it? You even see it in families with family members who have issues and mental issues. And sometimes it's a case of, well, what do you want me to do about it? And that does not even involve money.
Hmm. I agree with that. I have had friends who made some, when it came to drugs and stuff and just horrible decisions. And when I couldn't, stand to see them that way, one thing I did was I just left. After we tried to get help and you're still surrounded around people who mean good, sometimes you get to the point that, they're grown. I've told them this, we're repeating it over and over again, and they don't seem to listen. So you just throw your hands up and say, I can't help. But to me, it's just, I mean, if a person has a mental illness like Zahara was talking about, and they're not thinking in their best mind frame at that particular time, especially if they're, if it's undiagnosed and they're not taking medication, they tend to go along with whatever is most people with what's, sensationalistic. These people are saying, I'm the greatest, I'm this, they love me, and not really looking that these people may be stealing my money, or they're just here because I got the money or because my name is on the billboards and everything. But when I'm in a stupor and I'm down and out, I can't even find the people who so-called say they're my friends.
But some people are okay with that because they just want people around them. So they're okay with being used and anything else.
And I can never see that because that's just not me. But you're absolutely right. There are people who will do anything just to keep people around them and to keep the crowd pleased. There are people who do love that. And now I just want to talk a little bit about, I don't know if you all are watching R&B Divas, and there's a singer on there. She is a veteran singer, Michel'le, with such songs as Something in My Heart and Nicey. She has talked a lot on this show about dealing with her own attempts with. I hear your.
I know I'm trying to cut the other one off.
Okay. She has talked a lot about her attempts with suicide, and one thing.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And one thing I'm really concerned about with this show, R&B Divas, is I think, are they really there to get her the help she needs? Because if you look at her on this show and in interviews, Michel'le is still having issues with depression and everything she's going through. And this upcoming episode, I think this will be episode 4, you know, they're going to do an intervention with her because she is really not, I mean, I don't know if you ever get over, your suicide attempts or, whatever that is, but she is somebody who's still struggling with this, and you can see this through the television. And I'm just concerned that this show is not helping her, but exploiting her for a storyline. Because if she's still having issues with suicide, I don't need to see her on R&B Divas every week just to keep the ratings up. Put her in some kind of a clinic, get her the help she needs if this show really cares about her.
But that's what we were just saying about friends and people in the business or whatever. They don't care what it's going to do to you as long as they benefit from whatever it is that they can benefit from you.
And what I would say is, it's one thing to talk about the people you surround yourself with, but at the end of the day, you also have to admit this. You only can tell a grown person, you only can tell them what to do so much. At the end of the day, they have to be receptive to it too. And like Dawson said earlier, sometimes you get around people and you tell them they shouldn't do this. And I'm the same way. If I see you destroying yourself and I've gave you advice and, tried to suggest some things you could do and you continue to go down that road, I'm the type of person that will remove myself from the situation too. You have some people that they make their own decisions. You know what I mean? You can't make them go to the doctor or make them stop doing drugs. What I could say is you don't have to contribute to it now. And as far as the show, of course, that's a storyline. If she's still dealing with depression and all that kind of stuff, that's going to get them another 2 seasons. That's more money for everyone. So, if anything, they may try to deal with it in a public way. And I just don't think dealing with depression and mental health and suicide in a public way is the best way to go about that. And that's just my opinion.
Wow. So, we have some more stuff we're going to talk about. But again, our thoughts and our prayers go out to the family of Robin Williams. He will definitely be missed. This is just sad. It's just so much, not only with this situation, but so much that's happening in the world now. And I mean, people are, and like Denise stated, there are people who have never had, any kind of suspicion that they were suicidal and stuff, and because of things that are happening with, them in their lives and Social Security, like you had mentioned, Denise, I've heard stories about that people are just giving up and just taking their own lives or taking other people out because of it,
And when you are forever working or you're always on the go, like Ms. D said, when the man said he was just ready to go to the next thing, a lot of people, now I'll use chess for an example, a lot of people are smart people that play this game because their mind is forever racing and you're forever trying to get to the next step. You trip yourself up. You begin to just go crazy in a sense. Mm-hmm. Because it's always racing. You want to be successful. You want to do this. You want to do that. You don't take time to even just breathe and exercise your mind, because that is too, like, that's important too.
It is.
To exercise it and rest it and do things.
It is. And I would suggest to people who are watching this and who will watch this, if you can, get around, pray about your friendships, pray about business, people you get in relationships with. Because, of course, people put on fronts and put on airs and facades, and you don't know who's around you for the right reason. But one of the things that has really helped me, and LaToya talked about this, is pray, is this person meant to be in my life? If they are, let them stay. If they're not, take them away. And to me, that has something that really has always worked for me, because you have to. Friendships is so important, and relationships are so important. It is just so important. And sometimes we like to go
and
ahead.
when your prayers are answered, leave them at that. Mm-hmm. Don't go back and say, you know what, maybe Lord, maybe you didn't say that. Maybe no, He said it. Leave them alone and go on with your life.
This girl right here. Anyway. He said it. He said it, and that settles it.
He said it in His word. That's what He told me.
Okay. All right. Well, we got some more topics to get on. We thank you all for joining us on this. And remember, if you have any issues or any thoughts of suicide, talk to somebody. get help. Suicide, you know, or feeling depressed is not a sign of weakness. I'm so sick of people saying that. If you are having some issues, maybe mentally, or you're feeling down and out and it's going on for weeks and months at a time, go seek help. Come on, some people I know, and especially in the black people, we always say, take it to Jesus, girl, take it to Jesus. Well, after you take it to Jesus, if that doesn't help, go to your local hospital to admit yourself in there. Listen, I work in the mental health field. Go do that. We want you around. We want you here. There are people who are willing to help you and walk with you and to help you through this. And we need you to do that if you're having any thoughts of suicide, or if you know anybody who is. And, you know, call a friend. Like Denise said, she called me, but, you know, that wasn't the issue. Don't you get up here and say,
no, I ain't saying you was, but I'm just checking on you, because
yeah,
that
you
is.
did check on me.
I don't hear from my friends, I'm going to check on them.
And, you know, the thing is, do not get, I don't want to, I might get sued for that. But this phone I have, it just doesn't keep a good charge on it. So I'm not going to get sued by the company. But it's good that you have friends and that I do who check on me. And I thank God for that. And we all need that. I mean, Z Marie texts me, I text her. Ms. D called me at the drop of a dime to talk about any and everything. So, you know, you need people around you, and that's okay. It's good. I mean, get the help.
Subject with that little segue, it's gotten to the point where people think they don't need anyone, and yes, you do.
You do.
People need people.
We
do. Need each other.
We do. And, you know, a lot of times, a lot of people feel that way because they've been so hurt by people. And it's hard when you've been hurt by people, because people build up a wall. You know, my family hurt me, the ex-husband hurt me, the ex-girlfriend hurt me, so everybody's going to hurt me. And you're seeing out of the lenses of being hurt and rejected, and you put that on everybody. But everybody is not trying to hurt you. Everybody's not trying to beat you and abuse you. But if you're coming from a place of woundedness and being hurt all the time, if you're not getting the healing you need, that's what you're going to see. And that does lead you to feel like you're an island and getting depressed and having these antisocial type behaviors, because you feel that the world is against you. And like Denise said, no man's an island. Everybody needs somebody. And if you get online and go to a meetup group, meetup.com, that's how I found the group I run with on South Beach every week. So I ain't scared to say it. They keep me motivated along with my other friends. So get help, man. I mean, seriously, it's time. There's so much going on in the world, man, where people they're giving up, they're killing themselves, killing other people, and the world needs to be healed, man.
Yep.
It needs to be healed. So, any more last comments on this topic, ladies?
Nope.
Zahara, I know you got something to say. You just full of wisdom over there. She's like, that's the granddaughter of Maya Angelou. Say something.
Well, no pressure, right? I think I said a lot of what I want to say, and you know, the ladies as well as you, Dawson, said everything else. I just, you know, I'm not celebrity obsessed. I'm not fazed by money and fame, because I've had money before, and I realized I had the same problems that I have right now when I just have, you know, a different level of income, less money right now. So, you know, I feel like at, you know, 34, I've been around a little bit, and I understand what's important, and I also understand the different, you know, services and basically medicines available to help people with mental health. And I really do know that more than anything, you have to start to think differently. You have to try to take control over the mind. And so that would be what I would say. Anybody out there like who feels that there's no hope, that there really is hope. Almost every, I can't confirm every type of mental illness that someone has really suffered, someone else has been able to make some kind of recovery from. And you're not trying to be great necessarily. You're trying to be okay. So if you used to be depressed, you don't have to swing all the way, have the pendulum swing all the way to the other side and be, you know, happy every day. It's just a matter of recognizing that when you are not feeling well, it's not the end of the world. You can take care of yourself. And so just to a lot of you guys' point tonight is about self-care and people having other people around them. Well, one of the things that I was able to learn in therapy is how to take care of myself, because I didn't have the most loving upbringing. So I didn't really see that modeled for me, but I knew.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And
I
that's the
totally.
thing, taking account. Miss D said it earlier. You have to take accountability. And when you was talking about Michel'le on the thing, and you said she was going through it. Some people go through it, but they never grow through it. They never really get the full thing, so they continue to go through it because they're not growing, they're not learning. So you're gonna keep having this at 50 and 60 because you never took the time to figure out what you are doing wrong.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And Zahara, she said it right there to, that take the time. And we thank you, Zahara. I appreciate her saying that.
It's your life. It is your life.
It is your life. And if you have to go through therapy, I mean, I went through therapy when I was a child. I think I've said that on Dawson and Denise. And then, I don't have to go through therapy anymore because I started hanging around Denise and with Miss D. Oh my God. You don't get over it real quick. You'll get over hanging around them.
You better.
Really?
We'll miss life around here. But like we were talking about, I don't want to but that's my philosophy. I get over it, and
Yeah.
not even like just push it. No, I get over it,
Yeah.
and I get over it because I don't want to miss what's important.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
And
don't want
if
to
you
miss
need,
what's up ahead.
you're absolutely right. And if you
Oh,
need help, therapy is not, it's not a sign, like we say, going to get help is not a sign of weakness. And we don't want to judge because I don't know if Robin Williams or if Lee Thomas went to get help or not. But for those of you who are watching and who will view this, if you need help, go get it. And like Zahara said, it was not only about having people around her, but also being able to take care of yourself.
To
And
have
that's
her around her.
exactly, exactly, to take care of yourself. So I appreciate all of that, and we will be right back with some more topics. There's been so much going on, but I swear we're going to get through all of these tonight. Thank you all. Keep Robin Williams' family in your prayers, and like we said before, if you know anyone who is suffering with mental illness, who's having thoughts of suicide or anything, please, 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 get help for them. And definitely, I want to give a shout out to Nina Simone. She said she enjoyed this video. She's watching us live. And for everybody who's watching us live, the viewers, thank you all so much. We love you from Dawson Denise TV. And we'll be right back with some other events that are going around the
Good morning, Vietnam.
U.S. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. God bless you.